Today's question of the day is brought to you by Josh Sanders, and he asks, do you have any pets? Of course, you guys have already met Star a few times, so she's one of my pets, and I will talk about her later on. First of all, I want to actually talk about two pets that my father had, and the ones that he told me about. So, here we go. The first pet would be a cat. And this cat was no ordinary cat. This cat was monstrous in terms of this cat would beat up any dog in the neighborhood. It was not afraid of any dog whatsoever, and it would only strike back if the dog challenges the cat or tries to go after the cat. And this cat will actually beat up the largest dog in the neighborhood. Like any dog that's like 2 to 3 times its size, it would just beat him up. It just wasn't afraid. And I would think that this cat would actually eat a chihuahua if given the opportunity. Just, this cat was fearless. What can I say else about it? What else can I say about it? Grammar here, I gotta work on that, by the way. Other than that, just, this cat was cool. I would love to see that in real life, seeing a cat beat up a dog. Because that doesn't really happen all that much. So I would think it would be kind of funny, but that's just my opinion about this. Would you guys think it would be funny to see a cat beat up a dog? If the dog was messing with the cats? Just revenge at its finest. But that my dad actually tried to get rid of the cat more than one occasion. Like every single time he would try to do so, the cat would always just return back home. After like a few more tries, he just gave up and let the cat live just in the house or outside, however that the cat wants to do. Just as long as that he wasn't causing problems to the people, especially when they probably had some complaints about the cat beating up the dogs, but it's like, they are the ones who started it first. But, well. Just, after a while, I would assume that it just died of old age. As far as I know, that's what he told me, really. So let's move on from here. And another pet that he had was a dog named Dog. Really, really original, but this dog was not a dog you would make fun of because this dog was a Doberman and it was very, very intelligent. If you were to leave the front door open, Dog would not run out. He would just stay in the house. He knew his territory. He knew just when to stay. So, that was actually pretty cool. And the fact of the matter is that you could leave the door unlocked, you could leave the house open, he would not leave, and if anyone else that is not a family member, more or less a stranger of course, definition, then be prepared, because that dog will defend the house, he will defend a car, and he would defend the family members with his life. So if you come in the house, be prepared to get attacked. So no one would actually dare to enter the house, or no one would dare to try to steal the car when Dog is just sitting there. My father has left the door open several occasions and Dog never actually ran out. So that was really, really cool. If only I were to be able to meet him when I was a baby or just a young child, but that it passed away long, long ago before I was born. That the one thing he told me that I remember is that he knew who his master was. My father has been gone for 2 to 3 years on a military tour. He left Dog with his brother, and, well, I almost fell on that one now. Wasn't paying attention. That he left Dog with his brother for 2 to 3 years, and after that 2 to 3 years, he came back to get Dog again, and the brother was like, no, he's my dog now. You left him for 2 to 3 years, he's my dog. And all my father had to do was just say, come here. And Dog would listen to him. And the brother was all like, oh, you traitor, that was my dog. Why are you such a dumb dog? And then my father responded, he knows who his master is. And that was the end of it. He didn't fight it, because every time we tried to call him back, he just wouldn't listen to him. So, again, this dog knew who his master was, and that's actually pretty cool. Other than that, it's just, I don't remember any other stories that he would say with Dog, other than the fact that he would protect the family with his life. So my mother was always secure, but at the same time, just, she would not mess with Dog in any way. She just didn't want to get Dog in a bad mood or something like that. Just, she was kind of intimidated by him at times. So, let's move on from here. Let's see other pets that I've had. Mainly, a lot of them has to deal with being, like, disappeared. Or, sorry, one of them has been dog-napped. The other ones have either been killed or just disappeared. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like a bad luck curse, but right now, as far as time has gone for the last 5 or so years, We haven't had any other problems. So let's go ahead and talk when I was a baby. Because my parents owned a cat. And this cat would go to my crib and feed me food. It would feed me fish, it would feed me tuna, and it would feed me cat food. I actually ate cat food when I was a baby, and I did not know about this until my parents said something like, do you know that you actually ate cat food as a baby? Because we had a cat that would just jump in your crib and just start feeding you. Like, it took care of me as if I was its own. I'm like, I ate cat food? My own parents allowed the cat to feed me cat food. That is just crazy. Maybe that is why I like cats. Just as long as I don't turn to a cat anytime soon, but still. What if your parents told you that a dog or a cat just fed you cat/dog food when you were a baby? How would you react? I'm like, wow. Good thing I don't remember any of it. Because I don't think I would be eating cat or dog food anytime soon. But still, it's kind of a better alternative if you need to save a lot of money. Just saying. Some people actually have to resort to doing that. And good thing I don't have to resort to doing that, so I'm grateful for that. So let's move on from here. Now, to another dog that I think it was like a miniature type of poodle. I know it was just a poodle breed, but I don't remember which. Other than that, it was named Tinkerbell. It's been with the family for a long, long time. Very, very playful, very, very happy, very energetic. It was just playful all around. It's just nice to have that little poodle just running around. And one day when they let her out to go use the restroom, she never came back. And this was strange because she would always come back. She was very intelligent too. She would not run away. And my mother was calling out for Tinkerbell about like 100 times outside. And worst comes to worst, we just thought that she got dog napped. And no one said anything about it. We didn't get any memos, we didn't get any letters, we didn't get found dog posters. It was just someone took the dog and never said anything about it. My mother was devastated. She was crying for over a week. It was very, very sad, but it happens. There are such mean people in this world. And there's drilling in the background, but there's nothing I can do about that. Okay, so what else happened? What else has happened? I'm trying to remember. I remember actually rescuing a cat, or had a cat that we kind of rescued, and I held the cat for dear life. I just kept holding it and petting it because I loved cats so much. Because back then when I would watch cartoons, it was always that the cats were intelligent and the cats were the ones that people respect more, and the dogs were the goofy ones, or often the stupid ones. So back then, cartoons influenced me in thinking that dogs were dumb. Of course, now I think it the other way around, but let's just go with that mindset when I was young, okay? So that I just held the cat, I loved the cat, I just wanted to have a new cat, and my parents didn't want the cat, and we drove all the way to the pound just to drop off the cat. I was sad, but there was nothing I could do. And then, let me see. We had fish. Yeah, we had fishes. We had a fish tank, filter, big fish, little fish, every single fish that we could possibly get, and they all died. Come on, people, what do you expect? They're fish. They're not going to live as long as you would think they would. But I do remember having these 3 fishes. They were clear fish. I have no idea what they were called, but they had, you could see the skeleton, and you could see the colors in them. And I had 3 that I remember. They were red, green, and blue. And guess what we named them? Huey, Dewey, and Louie. That is what we named them. It was kind of fun. I like to see the fish swimming around, all that stuff. I would feed them every single time, and then later on they just died. Nothing we could do, and my father got rid of the fish tank because he figured that we're not going to spend so much money on fish that keep dying. We took care of them, they just kept dying because they had a short lifespan. So, let's move on from here. We got parrots. We got birds. I remember having one bird that was a lovebird. I would name them Sunny. It was a female because it would lay eggs every now and then. For some odd reason, it would just lay eggs. My mother always joked, oh, she just loves you. I'm like, okay. And my mother thought that I wasn't actually spending much paying attention to Sunny after a while. Even though I would always talk to Sunny, I would always play with Sunny. At times she would actually bite me, but that's just the thing. Every time she bites me, I will leave it in the cage and not actually pay attention to her because that was my sort of punishment to her. Like, I'm not going to pay attention to you if you just bite me. And then later on, my mother gave Sunny away. So I was kind of sad about that. But at the same time, like, she just kept biting me. I had no idea why. And I had a hamster, or a dwarf hamster, and I believe it was named Ryoki. Because I watched an anime a long time ago that had a little character named Ryoki, and I thought that was actually a good name for it. Or is it Ryoki? I can never pronounce it correctly, but of course with dwarf hamsters, they had short lifespans. I would always play with a hamster, and I was very, very happy with Ryoki. And it died. I don't remember what disease it possibly had, but it was to the point where she was slow and she was bleeding. Don't remember what disease it was, but eventually she died and I was totally devastated on that. I cried for a few days because every single time when I just think about her, it made me sad. Ah, well. Just don't really invest in fishes and don't invest in dwarf hamsters because of the short lifespan. Somebody's in trouble. Now, what was the other thing? We had a cat. This cat's still living with us, and I named her Cupcake because of Hey Arnold. A lot of cartoons really influenced me, but on Hey Arnold, with Harold and the little kitten that he named Cupcake, I thought it was perfect because it was a calico cat, and it had the white, tan, black, gray, just, I think of frosting, vanilla, chocolate, and whatever flavors that there are with cupcakes or muffins, if you want to go with that method. But it was still like, yeah, we took her out from the car, and it took us about a good 25 minutes because it was afraid to come out. I don't remember how it went, but I think that someone was just giving the cat away, but it was scared, and it ran off under the car. So after 25 minutes of trying to get the cat out, we took her in, and then we just took care of her, and apparently she actually had kittens. A lot of kittens everywhere that we had to get her fixed, and from there she just got fat. She's fat because of all the cats that are outside that she's afraid to go near. So she just remained inside and she became fat. She doesn't really go out much. Every time she does, she gets chased by the other cats. So it's like, I'm just staying in here. And we're like, okay, you can stay in here. But she's still living with us. I believe she's around 12 to 13 years old. Then we had another cat. And this cat was named Shadow. Shadow was a black cat that apparently someone just threw over a 6-foot wall. And it was in our backyard. That my father found Shadow in the backyard, getting a little bit harassed by the other dogs in the back. Just, they didn't know what it was, so they were following it, and when he picked up the cat, its paw was broken. And it was swollen to the point where he couldn't even, or the cat couldn't even move it. We took it to the vet and we had to get the paw amputated. Or sorry, not the paw, the whole leg amputated. It was badly swollen. It was broken where it was just not used. Or it just cannot function anymore. It was abused. Again, it was thrown over a 6-foot wall onto our backyard. And we didn't have grass back then because all the grass died. And he couldn't do anything. He couldn't really run or walk. And here was the thing. After his leg got amputated, it did not slow him down whatsoever. He was able to function really well. He was able to run with 3 legs, and he was able to beat up all the other cats in the neighborhood. He was the alpha male of that neighborhood. So, I think my father said that it was because that since he doesn't have his other paw, or his other leg, I don't even know at this point. He's just with 3 legs, he was able to actually stretch out further with the third one. Just without the other leg getting in the way, he was able to swipe him. And it wasn't the hind leg that got cut off, it was the front legs. So he had his 2 hind legs and he had the 1 front leg. And still, he beat up all the cats, he was an alpha male, and all the cats loved him. And also the cat loved me too. Like every time when I go outside, he would just lay down by its side and I would pet him. I would take care of him. And then one day he disappeared. No idea what happened to that cat. Because that cat was very healthy. It was not old. It was young when it was abused. So I'm guessing that he probably got killed somewhere. And I don't know anything about that. A lot of animals get killed. Then, let me see. Trying to remember all the other instances. We had a dog that was named Stalker due to the reason that it followed me home. It just followed me home, and then we just let it inside because it had no collar whatsoever, and it would stay with us for a while. But the thing was, I think it was also abused because when I had two of my friends over, well, it was two instances. One friend I had over, and he would just growl and actually nip at him. I think he'd actually bit him, but it wasn't actually a strong bite. It was just like a painful one at that. And at that time, it's like, okay, we can't have anyone in the backyard. Months has passed, and I completely forgot that Stalker did not like any other stranger or anyone else that's not part of the family. So I had my other friend come over, and we went to the backyard, and then it got bitten. We didn't get in trouble. Well, I got in trouble, but he didn't say really much about it because all it was is just a little small cut. It was not a big cut. There was no scar. It was just a tiny, tiny little cut. But still, it was painful for him, and at that point, we had to get rid of him. So we got rid of Stalker. I actually liked Stalker. He was pretty cool, but I guess he was abused because he didn't trust anyone else other than the people that he would consider family. I don't know what it was either. So we had that happen. Then we had a little kitten that we named Curiosity. That every single time where we would go outside, we would find it in a tree. We had a tall tree, so at times, the first time we went up, we got her down. Second time, she went up, we got her down. Third time, however, we just left her up there because my father said she knows how to get up there, she knows how to get down. Of course, she got down and she went into the house. And the thing about Curiosity is that it was still a small kitten that it would like to try to feed. Like, if you were to put your finger out, it will actually suckle on your finger. Thinking, of course, it's a mother's nipple, but hey, it was still feeding. So at that point, she would just either come outside or go inside because she would just stay in the yard and then come back inside. But one day she actually disappeared, and we thought it's just because she would always come up to other people and people could actually pick her up, just like how we picked her up. So someone took her, and I guess someone adopted her. A lot of dogs or a lot of cats really disappear. I don't know what it is. Okay, now what else? Trying to remember. As far as I know, that's pretty much all I could say about all the other animals that have lived here. We had another dog named Baby. She ran away. And we had no idea why, because with Baby, she lived with us for quite a long time. That she was part of the family too. And the thing I remember about her is that she messed up the inside of the house. We had no idea why. Like, in the backyard, there was a little bit of a space between our wall and the neighbor's wall. I was about to say neighboring. I don't even know if that's proper grammar. But with our wall and the neighbor's wall, there's a little bit of a small space that she would squeeze herself through and get out and run into the front yard. And we put her back in the backyard. Well, this was before my parents came home, so it was just me and my neighbors. So we would put her back in the backyard, and she would get out again. We try to block off the little small space in the wall, and she just squeezed through there again and got into the front yard. And I just gave up and just left her in the house. So when my parents came home, when they went inside the house, they called out my name and they told me what the heck just happened here. And I explained to them that every time we would put her in the backyard, she would always get out and go to the front yard. So they blocked it off, and she was not able to get out at that point. Now, I cannot even talk right now. I'm losing my train of thought. I should not have soda when I'm making these videos. I thought soda will help me actually keep focus, but now my mind's going all over the place. I don't work well with logic at times. Okay, so with that incident, it was fine. It was fine for after a few more months, and then I don't know how or why. It's just she ran away. She just ran away and never came back. So that was the end of that. Then we had a Rottweiler, and I forgot what the name was, but what I remember from this Rottweiler, that when I was running to go back from the backyard into my house, the Rottweiler ran right in front of me, and I ran into it, of course, and it was such a full force that I got the wind knocked out of me. I just hit my stomach, all the air went out, and then I hit my back, which made it worse. So I was breathing hard. I was crying. It was painful. Of course, I believe I was around like 8 or 9 at the time, and my dad punched the dog for running in front of me. Because I was hurt really, really bad. And then afterwards, the gate was, I don't know, either someone hit through the gate or somehow the lock got loose, but the back gate was opened and the dog ran away. Meh. Happens. My father did not really even search for the dog anyways. Now let's go to the recent times. Trying to remember, we have a Shih Tzu, very, very old, around 13 or 14 years old, and this is a dog you really hear in the background half the time whenever someone's at the door. She will be the first one to bark, other than the Chihuahua. But with this dog, she's kind of blind in one eye and she's partially deaf. So it's really, really hard for her to actually hear us at times. And she is the one that starts everything. She'll absolutely bark at nothing. If she sees a leaf fall from the sky, she'll start barking. If the dog's outside starts barking, she will start barking. She's the one that keeps interrupting my videos half the time. So you'll hear her more than not until she grows so old that it will be her time to go. Now with the Chihuahua, I was about to say the Shih Tzu because we have another Shih Tzu, but I'll get to that in a moment. With the Chihuahua is that we were supposed to be taking care of her. Like the owners just left her with us for about a few weeks for us to take care of her, while they were gone. So afterwards, when time was up, we tried to give back the Chihuahua and they didn't want to take it back. So we had to adopt her from there. And this Chihuahua is really, really annoying because she's the instigator of the whole thing. She likes to try to be the alpha female. Come on now, a Chihuahua versus a German Shepherd trying to be alpha female, you're not gonna win. She tries to be the alpha female against the Shih Tzu that I mentioned earlier. You're not smart. The Shih Tzu never actually does anything, so that's why the Chihuahua thinks she's the top dog. But other than that, the other Shih Tzu, it's one that my father wanted to get. I don't know why though, but he just wanted to get a Shih Tzu, and this Shih Tzu was actually more playful than the other one. It's just playful, a little bit heavier, but it's mostly just either muscle or fat. I cannot tell what difference does it make. She's just heavy as she is. And what she would do a lot of times is that she would run down the street or actually go to other places. So we have to keep an eye out on her if we were to let her out in the front yard. We could let her out in the backyard, and she is a loud barker, but she rarely ever barks, so that's a merit on that point, that I'm kind of happy that she rarely ever barks. I think my dad is actually planting a tree. Okay. Alright, wait, it's a post. That's what the drilling was about. It was for a post. Okay. I understand. I learn things as I go along. Okay. So this Shih Tzu, at times annoying, but other times, at least she's quiet. Now, to the dogs in the backyard. 2 of them. One of them is a Spaniel mix, and all it was is that her name is Beretta, and she's very, very old, around 14 to 15, I think, or 13 or 14. She had puppies, we took care of the puppies, we gave them away, and this dog will actually, even though she's old, she will still fight for us. That's what I like about her. It's just, she's getting old, she's getting a little bit slow, but again, she will still fight for us. I really respect that about her. Now moving on to the so-called prodigy, or so-called second dog. Yes, my father got another Doberman and named the dog in memory of the first dog. But whatever I said that pertains to the first dog, this dog is the complete opposite. This dog is not that intelligent, it's a coward, and at times, it's really, really dumb. I know I sound mean, but just hear me out. It's afraid of loud noises. Fireworks, thunder, loud popping. Every time he hears that, he freaks out and tries to scratch down the door to come back to go inside. It's an outside dog, but every time when he hears loud noises, he will try to scratch his way in. It's very, very annoying. And when he's not doing that, for some odd reason, he just actually scratches the door to get some attention. Like he would jump on the door, he'll scratch at the door. We have glass doors. Just one of those doors is a wood with a glass window, and he just scratched all of it. Back then, we would punch the dog for actually scratching the door, but he just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it, and my father couldn't actually get rid of the dog. So at that point, he just gave up and allowed the dog to actually scratch the door. But if he does it so much, my dad, I was about to say my dog, my dad would actually go outside, and of course, dog would run away because he's scared of the punishment, because he knows what's coming, but at the same time, he still keeps doing it. He just kept doing it over and over and over, and even after he gets punished, he still does it again. We feed him, we give him water, he has everything that he needs in the backyard, but he just kept being a nuisance. Again, we can't get rid of him. Because if we get rid of him, then the neighbors, or not the neighbors, the other people are going to have to deal with the same thing that we dealt with. So there's nothing we could really do unless we were to give him to the pound or something. But that's kind of inhumane as its own. Other than that, the only purpose that he really has now is just a look of intimidation. I don't think anyone will go to a backyard if they know that there's a Doberman, given the reputation that Dobermans have. So that's what purpose he now serves. He's just there for all bark but no bite. He's afraid of everything. So you could just say he's a lovable goof, I guess. Or a lovable oaf. That's all he really is. Just all bark and no bite. And also, if I have to mention this, that he would actually run away too. He doesn't want to come back in the house, or he doesn't want to go back to the yard, because every now and then when we actually have to load up stuff in the backyard, he will take that opportunity to run out the gate and just go everywhere just to mark his territory. I had to chase him down before about a good half a mile, and every single time he would mark his territory on a post, a tree, a wall, go down to the park. I had to grab him by the neck and actually drag him in because he doesn't have a collar at the time, and he still doesn't, because every time when we give him a collar, he finds a way to actually remove the collar. And another time when he actually got out, I had to chase him around the yard, or had to chase him around the neighborhood again. And when my father got a hold of him, because he would not listen to anything I had to say, he wouldn't even listen to anything my father had to say. And as my father was dragging him back to the backyard, dog would actually try to run forward, and my dad fell on top of the dog. And of course, dog starts crying, and my dad's like, okay, you now know not to pull me. That's the thing. He will start to pull it too, but hey, we still have him. Now, I know this is a long video, but I just had a lot to talk with. And trust me, I've done this before. I've already done it a few times, especially when the computer crashed and lost everything. For the first 36 questions, they're all redos. Now, for the coup de grace, if that's even the right word, I have no idea what that means. Hopefully it's not anything bad. I learn as I go along. Star, my German Shepherd. And I've already talked about this before when it was her 3rd birthday. So yes, she is 3 years old now. I got her when she was 9 weeks old. So, I've been taking care of her ever since she was a pup. And the way I got her is that I had 3 choices I wanted to get for a dog. An Akita, a Husky, or a German Shepherd. Given the reputations of German Shepherds, of how they are sweet, and yet they are aggressive and they are protective, I wanted to get a German Shepherd, just as long as we trained her right. And from there, they introduced me to a website where I could actually get the dog. And I just was looking through all the dogs that they have from the different breeders and the prices of that. I didn't really care for the prices at that time, because I knew that I was going to have to pay no matter what. And when I saw her picture, when I looked at her picture for the very, very first time, all the other dogs I didn't care for. When I saw Star's picture, I knew in my heart that was the German Shepherd I wanted to get. That was the dog. Star was a perfect name for her, and I would have never changed it anyways. So when I saw Star, I told my parents, that is what I want. The price was $3,700, or $3,700. Yeah, you could call me an idiot for spending so much money, but I didn't care. I didn't care for the price. When I saw her, I knew it, that this was going to be the dog for us. And I said, okay, you can get the dog. They even actually asked me to look at the other dogs and the prices. I'm like, I don't care. This is what I want. So, there we have it. My dad went off to a so-called business trip. He just said I was going to be leaving for a day and I'll come back. And when he came back, he told me that he went to the airport in another city. And, oh wait, no. Actually, he didn't tell me anything. He was saying, okay, go help me out with the stuff that I bought. I'm like, okay. I opened the door. On the passenger seat, there was Star. I know she was dirty. Don't get me wrong, because she was on an 8-hour flight. So she was kind of dirty, but I didn't care. I just picked her up and held her and hugged her. And I knew for a fact that this was going to be the dog that would change our lives, and she has done so. Especially for my mother. Like, she had to get used to her being in the house, because she wanted Star to be an outdoor dog. My father and I didn't want that. We wanted her to be an indoor dog, because of course with German Shepherds they have 2 coats of fur, and of course that she is a big dog and she could actually protect us. So with that argument, we just kept her inside the house, and she has been the best dog ever since. I've kept records of her by the week, especially on my vlogging channel, which is Mr. Sorkin090, but don't expect too much of it. I just keep it weekly, that I'm just saying like how she is, how the yard, how she is, how the yard is doing, and just how everything is going so far by the week. So it's not that great, it's not that exciting, it's just for me to keep a hobby, since I've been keeping up with that for over 3 years, and I'm just going to continue to do that. So there you go. Star has been with us for nearly 3 years, and I'm not counting the 9 weeks because she wasn't with us for those 9 weeks. But I kept track of her every single week from 9 weeks old to 157 weeks old. So there we go. I have nothing else for to say, because this video is a very, very long video, and I'm going to have to go through all of it and do a little bit of editing here and there. So that is it. That's all I could really say, because I don't think I've actually forgotten any other animals that we actually had. But let's just say that I'm kind of forgetful at times. So thank you, Josh Sanders, for the question of the day. And if I gotta ask you the same question, you don't have to go in so much detail. You could just pick your favorite animal, or if you want to do so, feel free to do so. Who am I to stop you? What do you have as pets? I was gonna say, who is your pet? Grammar again. So, do you have any pets? Feel free to leave your answers in the comment section below. If you want to make a video response, you may do that as well. Just inform me that you made a video response so I can annotate it at the end of this video so other people can see. And there are a limited amount of spaces of how many responses I will get. So let's see how well everything goes. Until then, if you guys have any questions for me to answer, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And if I do answer your question in the video, I'll credit you verbally within that video. I will link your channel in the description of that video. And of course, I will annotate your channel at the end of the video, giving you thanks for helping me out, something to do or something to talk about for that day. And if you want to message me on Twitter or Facebook, you may do that as well. So, 2 down, 98 more to go. This is gonna be fun. Let me get this last few blocks. Alright, so with that being said, I'm Sorkin090, have a great day everyone, and as always, I will see you in the next video, and if you do hear squeaking, just because I got a brand new controller, so squeaking is going to be an often thing. I apologize. Again, have a great day.